Yes, I sent Paul a message on Twitter asking if there's a good night where. Okay.
Just letting you know.
This is not anything that.
Is there a good night for us to get some hookers and blow? No.
Exactly. I asked him if there was a night where maybe a bunch of scoops are going to go see Penn and Teller.
Oh, yes.
Then
that would be good.
That would be a good night for us to go as well. Because
I agree.
When we're doing Scoop Fest, I want to see Penn and Teller while we're in town.
Me too.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
Yes, indeed. Oops. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Look at that. We're live. We have 9 people watching us.
That's more than was watching us play Splatoon.
Well, yeah, it's because watching us play Splatoon turned out to be kind of boring.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, people watch other people play video games on Twitch.
I know.
That's a thing that people do.
I know. People love it.
Those people are more entertaining than we are.
Well, to be fair, we were just trying to get stuff to work.
That's true.
Yeah.
And didn't work, so we're doing one of these.
Oh my goodness. All of our live chat people are toking up. We have
probably the best for they're about to hear a 2-person podcast about video games.
We have people diving into the wacky tobacco on our live chat.
That's fine.
I hope it's legal in whatever state you're in, my young friend.
Washington state?
Washington is one of those states.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. California is too.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it is, but you can't sell it at this point, or it's something ridiculous. You can't have pot stores in California yet. There's regulations they're working on. I think next year you're going to start seeing, weed stores show up. I don't know if there's a technical term for them.
Okay.
But stores that sell weed.
We ready to do this thing?
Not really.
Let's do one of them claps that we always do. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. We did it.
There it is. Dip, dip, doodle. Oh,
excuse me.
No, it's that Coke Zero sugar coming back up.
Ew. Yeah. All righty.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to episode 561 of the Player One Podcast for Tuesday, August 8th, 2017. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, is the cricket noise sound effects and...
What?
Mr. Phil Theobald. Hello.
Hello. This is going to be interesting.
Cricket noise from the rest of...
It's just us.
Right. It's just you and me.
Here, the Just Us League this week.
That's right.
Because Dewart's off at a wedding, and Ethan can't be arsed to join us.
Ethan is doing some family time.
I guess.
Probably playing Switch out in the park, just like in the commercials.
Yeah. Well, Ethan's doing anything but checking his Slack messages.
Yes. Yes. That's all right.
Yeah.
So it's just you and me. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this new formulation of Coke. Because this being a video game podcast, we could spend a good 15, 20 minutes on the beverage that we're drinking, and we could be at the top of the games and hobbies chart on Apple Podcasts. We've got Coca-Cola Zero sugar right here.
New improved taste.
Yes. I mean, I liked the taste of old Coke Zero. I was a fan. I'm not into the Diet Coke.
We don't have Seward here to poo-poo us on that.
That's true. Either. He would.
Yeah.
He would be. He drinks regular Coke, and that is just, what are you doing to yourself at that point?
It's regular Coke is delicious. Don't
start
painting that picture.
Well, yeah. I mean, non-diet drinks. The regular drink is good, but
it's highly caloric.
Yes.
That's
You gotta watch how many of those you drink.
That's the problem with well, you got to watch how much. I mean, any soda you drink. I mean, let's not.
But when something has zero sugar, you can just drink and drink and drink.
I don't think that's how it works.
More sugar. What? No.
I think you're on your way to kidney stones, brother.
Oh.
Yeah, that's.
I should get that looked
at. Let's not start painting a picture that Coke Zero is like a health food.
Right.
No.
So we're both fans of Coke Zero. When we found out they were improving the formulation, we wondered what the hell that was going to be like, because it could go, one of two ways. Really, it could be fine or it could be terrible,
Coke, like New Coke.
Back in the day, I liked New Coke. Is that wrong?
Yeah.
Should I not have liked?
Wrong opinion.
Okay. Well, and then I enjoyed Coke 2. They re-released it as later in some markets.
Oh boy, Coke 2.
Yeah. But so what do you think of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar?
It's good.
It is good, isn't it?
It's good. As I was telling you before the show, though, if you sat me down and put a gun to my head and said which one, describe the different, choose which one is which, I don't know if I could tell the difference.
Yeah,
they both tasted
pretty similar,
the same.
Yeah.
The
new one I think is a little smoother, less aftertaste, maybe. It's got different aftertaste, maybe.
Yeah, it's got a more oaky bouquet, for sure.
An oaky afterbirth. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Check that out.
Coke Zero. Well, you're gonna have to, because they're killing off the old one.
The old one. I got a 12-pack, and one of the cans was completely enclosed, but it had no liquid in it.
Really?
Empty can. Yeah.
Wow.
So
you should sell that on eBay.
I should.
Yeah. Did you pop the can, or
no? I didn't.
No. Oh man,
I could totally sell that, huh?
You probably could. You'd probably get a couple $3-4 for that.
Okay.
It
could pay for the other 11 cans.
Basically, yeah.
Had stuff in it.
A rare sealed can of Coke Zero Sugar Air.
Yes.
I love it.
I like it too.
That's the real Coke Zero Sugar. Drink that. No calories whatsoever. That's the healthiest Coke you'll ever drink.
That's right. It feels so light in the can.
Man.
That's right. So yeah, there was no real news happened as far as I know, because I didn't do any research. Really.
It's gonna be a weird show, man.
This is gonna be a weird show, but I do want to mention that Gun Media and Ilphonic announced a physical edition of Friday the 13th, the video game.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, and it comes out on Friday the 13th in October.
Dun dun dun.
Yes, and it includes like a new Jason skin.
Oh,
like
okay.
A DLC skin, Bloody Jason.
Oh,
he's just the Part 3 Jason with blood on his clothes. Okay, so
nice. Yeah. You gonna buy it?
No, I don't think so.
You're not. As much as you love this,
the DLC separately, or how it would work with the digital edition that I already have, because like if I can put the disc in and get the DLC for the digital version that I have and not have to do anything, I might do that. It's the same price, by the way.
Yeah,
they didn't raise the price, and they're still planning on doing these single player missions, but the announcement of the physical version doesn't actually mention anything about that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exciting. I really enjoy Friday the 13th.
I know you do.
More content is coming as well. They had an update on Twitter. They showed off they're doing some more motion capture.
Oh, really?
The game. So they're doing more content, which is fantastic.
Wow,
I'm digging it.
They're keeping that game alive.
That's true.
Good on them.
Yes. So I just got a message from Rich Grisham.
Yeah.
Who might be able to join us now.
Hey, all right.
1 second.
Let's see.
He says he can join in a few minutes.
Grooving
So I'm
in.
going to go ahead, send him the link.
Cool.
Because with just 2 people, this is really barely a show. We need at least a third person, right?
Theoretically.
Otherwise, we're just going to talk about Coke Zero, Ranma 1/2, Mystery Science Theater 3000, and what else?
What's going on with MST? What do you want to talk about MST?
I don't know. I'm going to see the live show in Atlanta next weekend.
You know what? I was going to go see the live show here, but by the time I went to get tickets, the only seats left were terrible seats.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't.
As a backer of the Kickstarter, I got an early sale on tickets.
Look at you.
So
nice.
Bought them.
Yeah. So you got good seats.
I don't know, actually.
Really?
Potentially. Yeah, I mean they're good enough. It's not nosebleed section.
Well, that's good. That's where I would have been.
I like looked at the seating chart and kind of approximated where we would be. So yeah. We'll see how that goes.
I see. Well,
did you watch the full season there of the new MST?
I've been slowly working my way through it. I've been savoring it.
I think I have 2 more episodes left to go, maybe just 1.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I loved it.
Oh yeah, it's really good stuff.
Yeah,
they did a good job bringing that back.
They did.
Yes.
And I was not hopeful at all.
Oh really?
It would be good. Yeah, I backed it and I was like, well, it'll be more MST and that's good, but I don't have high hopes.
You had your skepticals on.
Yes,
I
did. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes. Oh man. There we go.
Yeah.
So how have you been?
Good.
Are we just waiting for Rich now at this point?
I think we are. Pinned our hopes on Rich Grisham joining.
Oh boy.
I think we were talking before the show, or on the other episode that isn't going to be an episode because talking while playing Splatoon 2 is just a bad idea, and no one wants to listen to that.
Right.
Yeah, Charlotte is getting ready to start kindergarten, so that's going to be a lot of fun. For sure. I went to the Target today and bought...
Is this performance art? Ask Chris Volak on our live chat.
It is.
Anyone on our live chat have a question they'd like us to answer? Go ahead and ask us a question.
Go ahead, yes.
We'll answer all your questions while we wait for Rich Grisham to show up. I'm going to have another sip of Coke Zero sugar. Any of you 19 people have anything you want to know? Chris Volak wants to know, is this performance art? The answer, of course, is yes.
Yes.
Clearly it is, because if it wasn't, it would be better. Oh, my goodness. 21 people watching, now 20. So, CJ.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
I've been playing the hell out of Splatoon.
Oh, here we go.
We'll talk about that soon.
Phil, did you try the new DLC for Mighty Gunvolt Burst? I did not know there was new DLC for Mighty Gunvolt Burst. So no, but you know what? I have my Switch right here, so I can hop on and see. Let's see. That was from Zelda's Biggest Fan.
Yeah.
Nameva says, what do you really think of Ethan? Can I stop recording before I say what I really think of Ethan?
We love Ethan. Come on.
Who doesn't love Ethan?
Yeah.
Oh, apparently the DLC for Mighty Gunvolt Burst is free for 2 weeks. I actually just downloaded Shovel Knight for Blaster Master, which is also free for 2 weeks.
I like the way that they've been doing that stuff there, where
yes,
free for 2 weeks.
Yes. Oh, here, look at this. Here's a question.
Uh-huh.
Did Phil, Robert Mern, says, did Phil get the Lego Ideas Saturn V?
Oh.
Let me answer that.
See this again.
Let me answer that question with
sound
this.
effects and something launched.
Let me answer that question by whipping this out here. This 3-foot monstrosity. There she is. There she is. The Lego Saturn V. You bet I bought it. I was there on day 1 at the Lego store.
You had to go to a store to buy that? Did you have to line up?
No, you know what? I got lucky. I don't know if you've ever been to a Lego store on a big release date.
No.
But they actually do get some pretty hefty lines for these big popular sets.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up a couple hours after open because, well, you know what? I was working that day. This was back when I was teaching, and I was working that day, and I ran over there after school.
Mm-hmm.
So at about 3 o'clock or so, and luckily they had like 2 left. I got very, very lucky because those things were selling out like crazy. They sold out online almost instantly.
Mm-hmm.
But they had 2 left, and I snagged one. I was, like I said, very, very lucky.
Nice.
Awesome.
Rich Grisham, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
How are you?
How are my 2 favorite guys from the best show on the internet doing?
The Bombcast guys? I don't know. I'm sure they're okay.
It's good to talk to you. Thanks for having me. I apologize for my tardiness. Had a little bit of a summertime party mishap earlier, but it's all good now.
It's fine.
Summertime party mishap?
Yeah, well, you know, we have a pool and there were a lot of kids over and little slip and fall here. And
Oh, no.
Yeah, nothing major. Everyone is
Okay.
fine, but definitely
Okay.
threw a slight monkey wrench into my plans this evening. So
Yikes.
All right. Well, should we start over again?
no, please, not on my account.
Well, it's
For
not
the
like
sake
we
of
did anything.
No, we really didn't.
Hey, I did just download the free Mighty Gunvolt Burst DLC, though. Thanks to Zelda's biggest fan on our live chat there.
There you go.
Yes.
That was a live downloading.
Yes, it was.
Live
Ooh,
unboxing of sorts.
I can actually do something cool live too. Hold on one second. Don't worry.
What's
This
that?
will involve no
Uh-oh.
nudity.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Partial.
Oh, boy. We don't need a polygon situation going on here. Oh,
Whenever,
my goodness.
if we have started the show, then we can do it now, or we can wait till we do it. But I've got can do a live unboxing of my brand new 2DS XL.
Oh, did you? You got
2DS XL.
Yep, got the
Oh, wow. It's
here and literally opening it for the first time.
where'd you get that from? Where's that been shipped from?
This came from the good people at GameStop.
Oh, okay.
All
You and
right.
Ethan can hang out and go on
Well,
about how great GameStop
Ethan
is.
doesn't order anything from GameStop.com, though.
Yeah, that's true. He goes
this-
to the store.
This
Yeah.
did not involve going into the store at all. It's actually a great case of email marketing where they sent me an email the day before it launched, or no, maybe 2 days before. And they said, last chance to pre-order. And I clicked a couple of buttons. And next thing I know, I had pre-ordered it and showed up on Friday. And I haven't had a chance to open it. And here it is. And I'm super excited.
Awesome.
I'm so tempted. Very tempted to get
You
it.
have to do it. You have to.
So tempted.
Especially because you can actually get them.
That's true.
That's
I was
the
at Target earlier today and I saw they had several units left. So
yeah.
You can get them. And you know, 6, 7, 8 months from now, you won't be able to get them.
that's probably true. It was got that new Pokemon game coming out, that new Metroid.
Yep.
Yep.
Rich, what are you doing? You're
I'm
enabling.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
You are an enabler. Clearly.
Well, you know, I learned from you, CJ. Whenever there's an opportunity to buy Nintendo hardware, you just do it.
That's how I ended up with this Pikmin amiibo, and I don't even have the Pikmin game that it is utilized with. So
it's a nice amiibo though.
it is. It's maybe one of the best amiibo.
It's my favorite amiibo.
Yeah. Until the Metroid ones come out.
And that Metroid one looks
Squishy.
great. The squishy Metroid.
Metroid. Yeah. I like that.
Anything squishy, I'm all for.
Yep. All right, maybe we should talk about video games that we played. Should we get into that?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Weird episode this is.
I don't know if you heard, but Splatoon 2 has a Splatfest going on right now as we record this episode.
Yep.
And I did my part for Team Ketchup. I got all the way to Ketchup King in Splatfest, which means if we win, I get a whole bunch of sea snails and stuff, and that probably sounds like
what does sea snails do for you?
Sea snails will allow you to customize the gear that you have, like add slots to your gear.
Yeah.
And this is the first Splatfest since the game came out. It may be used for something else also, but that was what it was used for in the first game.
I see.
Hey, CJ, let me ask you a question. So
Sure.
I played a decent amount of Splatoon 2, tremendously fun. My son has played it, loves it. But every time I play it, I just jump in and I play and I have a great time, and I don't really pay any attention to anything. And I heard you mention a couple of times like weapon slots and the gear you get. What's the deal? Like, what is this, and how important is it to having more fun? Like, break it down for me, because I don't really have any clue what advantage I'm going to get if I go to the store and buy stuff. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's not obvious to me that there are multiple options. And since you can't change weapons in the game, I don't even know what that even means. So break down what that actually means to me. What am I going to get if I go get better gear and have more weapon slots or whatever those things are?
So to me, when you find out which stages are in the rotation now, then you can kind of choose what weapon you is better for you, basically. Like, so Port Mackerel is a stage that has a lot of like hallways and little areas where you can ambush somebody. So I usually use a bucket weapon in that situation because at close range, it'll destroy them in 2 hits.
And a bucket you can't get till a certain level, or is it just okay?
Yeah. The weapons unlock. There's one for each level up, and then there are 2 weapons for every 5 levels. So like level 5, 10, 15, 20, I believe, have 2.
25, 30.
That's
35,
right.
40.
Only up to 30, because that's all the weapons that are in the game.
Never mind.
But the other thing is, so let's say you choose a weapon like the Splattershot Pro, for instance, which runs out of ink really quickly. If you have gear that adds to your tank reserve, you won't run out of ink as fast with that weapon. So choosing the right piece of gear with the right weapon on the right stage is something that more advanced players of Splatoon will be doing. I do that a little bit, but I'm not to the point where I'm customizing every piece of gear that I have.
It's kind of amazing how you can play Splatoon 2, not know any of these things, and still have a fantastic time the whole time. It's so well designed from that perspective.
It really is a wonderful game.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah, and once you get into the ranked modes, I find those to be way more intense than Turf War, but also just as fun, because you have a tower control mode, you have the Rainmaker mode, which is sort of a reverse capture the flag, where you have to run the Rainmaker weapon into the enemy base. I just think those are a lot of fun. I do wish that they would add a ranked version of Turf War, which they don't have, in part because then you could play it in league battles, and league battles are kind of like ranked, but they allow you to team up with either in a pair with another friend, or in a team of 4. So, but yeah, I am having a ton of fun with the game. I think my Switch game clock says that I'm over 65 hours into that now. And I still have not finished the single player mode at all.
Are you ever going to go back to single player?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll definitely finish it. I'm at the start of the 4th area in single player. So
because I dabbled in single player, but once I got into multiplayer, I haven't really thought about going back at all.
Well, it unlocks special versions of all the weapons, or the main weapons anyway. So it's worth going in there and getting those.
Does my Splatoon amiibo do anything for me at all?
Yes,
it does.
Your Splatoon amiibo. So the old ones will unlock
invincible.
Oh, I like that.
It unlocks God mode. No, it unlocks the same gear from Splatoon 1 that the amiibo unlocked before will unlock in Splatoon 2, and that's pretty much it. It gives you like some music tracks from the first game to play in that little music mini game that's in the square. If you've tried that at all, the little sound test thing. But that's it. Yeah, I bought all the amiibo also, even the new ones.
Well, of course.
Yeah. You get the recolored ones from the first wave.
I did not get the recolored ones. No.
Yeah, neither did I. Neither did I.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You use motion control, Rich?
I do. I didn't like it at first, and then I tried it without motion control, and then I quickly went back to motion control. Because it's just without the motion control, it's really, for me anyway, I was just aiming all over the place and felt completely lost. So I've had to make some adjustments, and I still haven't found the sweet spot, but I've ratcheted down a little bit of I don't know what the term is, but I've reduced the
sensitivity.
Yeah, there you go. I've reduced the sensitivity a little bit, made a few adjustments. It's better now. I'm not exactly where it needs to be. I probably need to tinker with a little bit, but I am back to motion controls after a brief time without them.
Cool. There's a video from I think it's that SRB2 dude on YouTube, and he is a big proponent of motion controls, and he's really good at Splatoon. He is like S+ rank in ranked mode, and he did a video on how to get used to motion controls, and I'll link to that in the show notes, and it's really interesting, and how to set up the right sensitivity for you. So that's a good video.
Very sensitive, so
extra sensitivity.
I hope you use no harsh language in the video, because I am so sensitive
to it.
Sensitive.
All right. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Speaking of Splatoon and the Switch, check this action out. Check this action out.
Wait, those are just the straps, though.
Those are just the straps, but I'm halfway there, baby.
Why? Why did you get the straps?
Well, because...
Do you actually use the Joy-Con straps at all?
Huh?
Oh, my son hates those things.
They're so cheap.
You're
lame.
so cheap.
Well,
You're
that's
so cheap.
True. Yeah.
No, there is a listener goes by the hacker alias Hush 316, who lives down under in the great Australian outback, and he got me a hookup with some of the Splatoon 2 Joy-Cons, the pink and green Joy-Cons. So I have those en route across the great blue, and so I was able to, because I want my controllers to be complete. I don't want them missing their lids, so I went on Amazon Japan, and ordered the little green and pink.
So did you get the gray Joy-Con Switch or the?
I did. I wanted to get the blue and red one, but it was sold out. It was impossible to find at launch, so I got stuck with the gray.
I don't know if this is the case on the neon green and red one, but the straps for the blue and red are actually a different color than the Joy-Con itself.
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's weird. I have no idea. I mean, I will tell you once I get my...
That's pretty cool.
Once I get them in the mail, but I'm halfway to having those sweet Splatoon 2 Joy-Cons on my system.
Okay.
No more looking at dull gray.
No more looking at dull gray. Mine is I've kitted mine out with the blue. Check this out.
Let's see. You should finish your sentence before moving away from the mic.
What? Why?
Because
you like that?
Well, because it makes it harder for us to hear everything.
Oh.
You idiot.
I've done 560 episodes of the Player One podcast.
That's very nice blue. It looks
like
very
blue?
nice. It looks very nice.
Nice.
It is nice.
Hey.
It's not as nice as my pink and green are going to look, but
now, Rich, are you going to show off like your neon yellow Joy-Cons and make me jealous and make me run out and buy more things?
No, unfortunately, my Switch is the dreary gray.
That's where mine is right now.
There it is. Gray Unite. There we go. But I do have, in case you were wondering, by the way, what handsome man is showing in that beautiful.
I'm holding my Switch up to my camera, which is just reflecting what's on my screen. So
hey, look, I'm on the Switch.
Yeah, I'm playing that new Player One game on the Switch. So good.
But my 2DS
Nights in there for 2 weeks if you download them for free. I'm sorry, Rich. Go ahead.
No, please, that's fine. Speaking of new hardware, my new 2DS XL, which I just unboxed, does have a little bit of a neon blue to it.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
look at that.
And what else is nice, I didn't expect this, it actually has a power charger in it.
Oh, nice.
They did not have these in the last round. Am I correct on that? Or
You're
was it
correct?
Okay.
The smaller new 3DS in the US did not have them. And I think even the 3DS XL in other territories did not include an AC adapter.
Yeah, very nice neon blue buttons and everything too. I'm very happy with my new 2DS XL. CJ, you should probably think about getting one of these things. Pretty sexy.
Hold on a second. I have to go to GameStop.com.
How easy is it to put all my stuff on my very beat up old OG 3DS XL? I transferred it once from my original 3DS to my 3DS XL, but that was like 3 years ago. How difficult or not difficult is that process?
I think the transfer is pretty easy these days, isn't it?
Do you have a new 3DS XL or do you have an OG?
I have an OG 3DS XL.
Okay. I think it uses a different memory card format now.
Oh, really?
It uses micro SD instead of SD.
And this isn't a situation.
So you may have to basically you use a computer to copy things over and transfer them onto the card. You should be fine.
And my son has a 2DS, the original 2DS, and he has filled up his card with games. You know, it's interesting. When you have a 10-year-old, the new digital world is really great until they fill up their card. Because we've had, let's just say, well, he's 10, right? If you remember when you were 10, taking really good care of important stuff wasn't really at the top of your list of skill sets. So when it comes to sort of switching carts in and out of, you know, he gets very happy when the cart he puts in is in and then quickly forgets about the cart that he removed without putting it back. So we've lost a couple of games. So I quickly realized, okay, number one, these cards that he's losing are expensive, and I don't want that to happen anymore. So going digital is good. But he's filled up his card, and he went to buy something for his birthday. I think it was Paper Mario. I'm pretty sure that was the game that he was going to get, and he couldn't get it onto the card because the card was full. So I was poking around, and evidently you can get bigger cards.
That's right.
But same sort of questions, like, I know it's possible, but it sounds like, CJ, it involves like a computer and moving all his stuff from his existing card to the new card. That's relatively easy, but it is a process you have to go through, right?
No, I mean, that's the easiest of the processes with the 3DS because literally all you have to do is use a computer as the go-between and put things on a new card and pop it in.
Okay.
It should work as long as the card is formatted with exFAT or FAT32. File system should be okay.
So I have some card work to do. So looks like I got that ahead of me.
I've done system transfers on pretty much all the 3DSs that I've gotten, and it's been fine.
Good to know.
Yeah,
cool.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Is that it? We're gonna do half-hour show.
Oh, I got lots of games to talk about.
Oh, well, Rich, please, because we have been playing nothing but Splatoon 2.
Okay.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So, the Xbox One, you guys been playing that recently?
I don't have one.
Yeah, Phil doesn't have one.
Right.
The last time I booted mine up was a while ago to play Overwatch.
Somehow, over the last 6 months, the Xbox One has become my primary console.
Really?
Now, I say that where I do use the Switch a lot, but I tend to use the Switch much more in a handheld mode.
Sure.
I do play it on the TV sometimes, especially ARMS for whatever reason. I really like to play ARMS with the Pro Controller on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
For the Xbox One, I have the Games Pass.
Oh, okay.
The Xbox One Games Pass is spectacular. There are so many good games on it. I've been playing like 5 or 6 different games. And the nice thing is with the Games Pass is if you don't really like something after half an hour, I don't feel bad, right? Because I didn't spend a whole lot of money on this. I'm spending $10 a month on it. So I've played Mad Max. I've played a couple of Spec Ops. I've played both of the Toy Soldiers games. Have either of you guys ever
those
played?
Are good.
Oh, Toy Soldiers. The original Toy Soldiers is one of the most fun games I've played in years. It is so good. So good. Have you ever
on the
played
original
Toy
Xbox
Soldiers
360, right? It was part of Live Arcade. And then
It's a 360.
Ubisoft did the sequels.
Yeah, and they have both the original Toy Soldiers and they have Toy Soldiers Cold War, both of which are great. But the original Toy Soldiers, which is a World War I based game, in particular, just the art style, the visuals. I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for tower defense, but this is my opinion. This is the best tower defense game I've ever played, the original Toy Soldiers, because of just it's a really interesting art style. It is a lot of different types of troops and weapons that you can use. They slowly introduce things like tanks and planes. And not only do you get to sort of set up where your units are and how to allocate your money, but you can hop into any of the units at any time and play in that first-person mode, or if you can fly around and be in air combat, or you can get in a tank and blow stuff up. I've had so much fun playing Toy Soldiers. The follow-up Toy Soldiers Cold War is really good too, but the original Toy Soldiers is just it's a fantastic game. So Phil, in particular, if you haven't ever played it, I would highly recommend.
And the new one had a bunch of DLC with licensed characters like He-Man and G.I.
Toy
Joe.
chests. Toy chests.
That's true.
Yep. So that's an example of a series that I realize I probably should have played years ago, but I never did. And I'm so glad that I got the Games Pass, because I probably played 20, 25 hours over the course of the last couple of months of Toy Soldiers.
Nice.
So good. There's a bunch of great arcade games on there. They've got all the Pac-Mans, like the original and the the Pac-Man Championship Edition. They've Dig Dug and all the Galagas. They've got some really good AAA games from a few years ago that I missed. Games like Mad Max. I don't know. Did either of you play Mad Max?
I did not.
I haven't played it, no.
Really good, although it has... I've got a theme that's developed with a few games. Mad Max is one of them. Forza Horizon 3 is another, where you get to a certain point and there are just so many different options to go to that I sort of, especially with Mad Max, I played the first like 3 or 4 hours, was really enjoying it, the story, and then I opened up probably 25 different spots on the map that I could do different things, and I just I really just like to go through the story, and I couldn't even tell where to go for the story, so I sort of run into an issue there with it. But
it's paralysis of choice, right?
Yeah, really
like you have too many options, you don't want to do any of them.
That's right.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how open world games going forward are designed now that you had Zelda Breath of the Wild come in and not put all of those icons on the screen. They basically, like Zelda, if there's one design choice that I hope carries over into more open world games, it's don't bombard me with icons. Let me find each of those that I even want to do by itself, and that fine.
And the other thing is, even if I do have icons, it would be good to know how valuable or non-valuable these icons are. Because, for example, on Mad Max, I opened up 2 bases on 2 chunks of the map. And there's probably, in this big world, there's probably like 12 areas, that you unlock. And I had like 3 unlocked. And there were these 2 big bases where if you go, that's where your vehicles are. And you can pick up on, talk to different characters. But in each of those 2 bases, there's all of these, I don't know, paths or all of these sort of things that you can do. So, if you complete 2 or 3 of these little missions, you get a little extra boost in fuel consumption. Or if you do 2 or 3 of these, you get a little boost in your weapons. But there's like 12 in each base. And again, it just becomes, it becomes too much. And frankly, the same thing happened to me in Forza Horizon 3. I love to play racing games on my treadmill because it's just a really good way for me to keep going and not think too much about the fact that I hate being on the treadmill, but I just enjoy the fact that I'm getting able to play games. And racing games in particular, I really enjoy that because you're just always sort of looking ahead and focusing and want to do one more race. But even Forza Horizon 3 is guilty of that. Once you get to a certain point in there, when you've reached a level, there are, and I'm not even joking, and CJ, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There are like 40 buttons on that map or 40 little things on the map. And it's like, what am I doing here? How do I move up a level, or what am I chasing after? And it's kind of getting annoying.
Yeah.
It's a fun game, but like half the time I'll go to a spot that I think is like a new championship, and then I'll see that the championship isn't either unlocked or I've already come in first place in the championship. Things like that are kind of, so that's sort of a theme I'm running into with Mad Max and Forza Horizon 3. But so the Xbox Live Games Pass is terrific, and they just added a bunch of new games to it, like 5 or 6 new games to it, which is nice to see because they had said that there would be a rotation, and so far it hasn't been a rotation. They just added 5 or 6 more, including a Seward Special Dirt Rally, which I played today for a little while. That's a really fun game.
Nice.
And they added Dead Rising 3 to it, CJ. So I know that you're all over that one. Yeah.
Hacker Alias Kyle Alvarez in the chat says the problem with Game Pass is that you can also buy something like Mad Max on sale for less than $5 and just own it instead. I think that's an interesting point. A lot of the games that are on Game Pass have been deeply discounted. Yeah. So while I think it is different seeing a $1 price and just being able to download something freely when you have the time on things. It's true that a lot of the games that are on there, not all the games, of course, have been severely discounted already.
Totally right. But my thing is I can't see a time where I would see Mad Max for $5 and say, I'm going to buy that.
Yeah.
Because that's not generally the kind of game that I would play.
Right.
But I've heard enough people say great things about Mad Max, and if I see it there on the screen and I could just click a button and be playing it,
totally,
I will do that.
That's why the Netflix model of on-demand stuff works so well. Totally. That's why people stopped going to video stores.
That's right. That's right. And plus, I got my 1 terabyte hard drive hooked up to my Xbox One, so I'm just downloading games left and right, and I'll play them or not play them. And I don't know. We all sort of have different approaches to these things, but I'm really enjoying this whole, I'm paying $10 and I just got this big smorgasbord of games. And there's a heavy influence of 360 games on the Game Pass. And all it does is remind you, the Xbox 360 had a fantastic library.
It really did.
Yes, it did.
I mean, so
it did.
Another thing that I've really enjoyed about my Xbox One lately is the backwards compatibility. Yes. My son, if you guys remember, my son is a big Portal and Portal 2 fan.
Yes.
So I loaded up Portal 2 the other day on the Xbox One, and he and I were playing co-op, which was really nice because I have my 360, but I've only got 1 functional controller left on my 360.
Yeah.
So for us to play co-op, can't really do it. But I plopped it into the Xbox One, and it went and it downloaded the game from the store, and he and I were playing Portal 2 co-op. That was great. I don't know if you've ever tried Portal 2 co-op, but that is really, really good. And we made it close to the end, and we're probably going to finish it tomorrow.
Nice.
And then he speed ran the original Portal because I loaded up the orange box, which I still have, and that's backwards compatible. And then he speed ran through the original Portal, and he's got his YouTube channel, so he loves streaming this stuff. So he's gonna in the next week or two probably stream a Portal speed run, because he can bang through that in about 90 minutes or so, which I know isn't like the record, but it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Between the Games Pass and the backwards compatibility, the Xbox One has really proven to be quite a nice little value machine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going and buying new games. Oh, and the last thing is with EA Access, all the EA Sports games are coming really soon. Like Madden's coming out in a week or two, and FIFA a couple weeks after that, and NHL. I don't really have to buy any of those games. I get to play them each for 10 hours a week early on the Xbox One, and then if I want to pick it up for the PS4, I can. But so between
they
all
give you a
stuff,
discount too on the Xbox One if you buy them on there.
Yep. So between all those things, my Xbox One has really risen to the top.
Yeah.
I'm not playing my PS4 nearly as much as that Xbox One.
I'm actually wondering, like, I know when EA Access was first announced for Xbox, Sony said they didn't want to do that type of service. They didn't want to have like publisher services. And then you had the Minecraft crossplay thing and that whole thing there. Like, PSN has just become a very closed system.
Mm-hmm.
And although I'm not sure if the things that you're mentioning, which are very nice to haves, are things that Microsoft can turn the tide on, but they are certainly nice things to have available to you outside of what has been done on PlayStation. But of course, on PlayStation, you have exclusive beta periods for Destiny 2 and Lawbreakers and all that. So they have their own things, but yeah, it has been interesting to see how this generation so far has played out.
I kind of like how the Xbox One is sort of a machine that I don't need to buy anything for. As long as I sign up for those services, I'm good. Like, it's nice, and that's why I'm considering getting.
You know what I still don't like about the Xbox One, though?
What's that?
The interface. It is so slow.
You're right.
So slow. And
yes, that's true.
The Xbox One has been out for how many years now? 4, 5? That thing is molasses. And I'm not even saying that the PS4 is all that much better, because the PS4 has gradually gotten worse as well. But the Xbox One, navigating to the store and finding what you want, if you're all digital like I am, it's just really, there's just a lot of lag on that interface. And I really wish they would clean that up.
Well, they will whenever the next version.
Well, you have to spend $500 to get a 1X.
Oh, I don't even know if that. I think just because of the original design, I think this hardware to completely uncouple it would be too much. But I mean, you can tell.
That's one of those things, though. Like Sony and Microsoft have very slow interfaces now, compared to something like the Switch, where it's so fast and it's bare bones, and a lot of people don't like the fact that it's so plain. But I would take that over like lag to select a game and to load up the social feed, like what happens on the PS4. I'd much rather have that very simple layout that the Switch does.
100%.
So, yeah, although I think everybody has problems with finding digital content in their stores. Like, nobody has cracked that nut. And I think, Apple, the App Store, gets a lot of flack for there being a lot of garbage in there, and it's hard to find anything, and there's a lack of discoverability, and that was definitely true for a long time. Still is true. With iOS 11, which comes out middle of next month, they're creating like a new sort of layout where it's like a daily newsletter. It's almost like opening up Flipboard. Or like a magazine about new apps and apps you might enjoy. Like that really, I wish Sony and Microsoft would take that angle on discoverability on their digital stores, because it's too crowded. On Xbox and PSN, you have games battling for space with movies and music and services and all this other stuff. It's just very difficult to find what you want or to find games you might actually be interested in. Like, you know, I always get recommended Call of Duty and like games that I have no actual interest in. So their algorithms there could definitely use some fixing as well.
Phil, are you still getting an Xbox One when Crackdown 3 hits?
That's the plan.
When is that officially announced date?
November 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same day as the One X. But you're probably only getting an S, right, Phil?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to bother. I'm with the...
Yeah, not bother with the new one.
No. I'll get the cheaper version.
I would imagine they are going to have some good deals on that.
Yeah.
Hoping.
This Christmas.
I am hoping.
Yeah. I hope that game is good.
Yeah, same here.
I really hope that game is good.
Boy, do I love the original Crackdown.
I'm waiting for the marketing to start up again on Crackdown 3 because November 7th is really not that far away, and I want to see more of that game.
Now, I have the original Crackdown. Is that backwards compatible on the one?
You know, I don't think it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so at the moment.
No.
I haven't played that game in so long. And
That
I
was
remember,
so good. And it was such a surprise
yes.
when that thing came out. Most people bought it just because of the Halo beta.
Yeah, right. That's right. I forgot about that.
And we made fun of it, I think, on this show 200, 300 episodes ago. Whenever that was.
Beta.
Where you're buying this game. Really, you're just buying the beta and you're getting a free game.
Yeah.
But it turned out so well, and it was such a surprise because to me, the art style in stills and even in trailers, it looked terrible.
Yeah.
It just didn't look interesting at all. But then that demo came out.
And that was good stuff.
It was really good. Yeah.
Crackdown really defined like a 4 to 6 month period of my Xbox 360 experience.
Yeah.
You know, you guys remember when the 360 was in its first year or two, there was the one big game that would come out every 6 to 8 weeks, and all of your friends would just rotate to that game, and that would be the big game. And Crackdown was, it wasn't that, I don't exactly remember where it was, but I definitely remember for 4 to 6 weeks, Crackdown was the game that I was playing, and all of my friends were playing that game over that point in time.
Absolutely.
That was amazing. Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's sort of happening with Switch now, where my friends list is all people with Splatoon loaded up.
Speaking of
Switch,
Switch,
is a wonderful system.
What is?
The Switch.
Okay.
It really is a wonderful system.
Phil, I don't remember. Have you played ARMS?
I do. I have ARMS. I have played it.
Have you gotten past level 4 and gotten to like open up the ranked mode?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Me neither.
I'm fighting through level 4.
What do you think of that news story that came out? I think it was on Kotaku, where ARMS does not have legs.
1.3 million sold, 1.4 million sold.
It sold really well for a fighting game.
I mean,
for sure. It's going to sell more than Street Fighter V, I think, was the projection.
Let me tell you this. If my game sold 1.3 million copies, I would be very, very happy and wouldn't care what some website wrote about.
Of a new IP on a new system.
I saw,
1.5 million.
I think it was on IGN that said ARMS had sold more copies than Grand Theft Auto 3.
Let me fact check you on that right away. No,
I believe. And the Switch, there are more Switches in homes now than the Nintendo Entertainment System had in its entire lifetime. I saw that on IGN.
I think the problem is with ARMS is that it came out in June, only like a month before Splatoon 2, which was, you know, a major release. I think a lot more people were anticipating that game than ARMS. And they have had content updates, but they really only had like 1 or 2. Now they added the headlock mode and max brass, and that's kind of been it. They've been sort of radio silent on that. Whereas Splatoon now, they've already introduced like 2 additional weapons. The Splatfest has a completely new stage. Like there are introducing things at a pretty fast clip in Splatoon 2. And so it's kind of easy to walk away from ARMS for a little while. I know Pete Dodd blames me for ARMS's disastrous player base because we didn't schedule a player one game night for ARMS.
I mean, Splatoon has an entire history and infrastructure, and they've run this play before. They're in much better position to sort of do this kind of stuff than the ARMS team anyway, right? Like, to me, it's and this isn't saying it in a negative way. Splatoon 2 is really Splatoon 2.0.
Don't say it.
Right? But in a good way. In a good way. It's okay to have virtually the same thing, but a little better. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that on a new system that a whole lot more people are going to get to play. Whereas ARMS this is the first thing. There's not that model that you can look back on. You don't, there's not a blueprint. You're creating your own blueprint. And that's a very different thing to do, and a lot riskier too, right? Like,
and I think people have very short attention spans for new content, right? It's like, what have you done for me lately? If you haven't updated in the last week, I'm not interested in your game. Whereas I think Nintendo has that blue ocean strategy still going, where they look at things as like a long-term sales goal, right? So, and they've done that with even Super Mario Maker and Splatoon 1, which when it launched, it only had 5 stages, and you couldn't even play private games in Splatoon 1 for the first few months. They added that as an update later. So, I think it's kind of too early to tell where ARMS is going to go exactly. I thought they had a lot of creativity with the new fighters that they've introduced thus far.
Yes.
So let's just see how we go through the fall and what content gets added to ARMS. I'm really interested in that.
I like playing as the various characters and sort of finding the character that you like. And I'm not a fighting game guy by any stretch of the imagination either. I have a lot of fun just sort of experimenting and dabbling. I like that when I go online, I'm not destroyed in 14 seconds and left, in a puddle. Right?
I am destroyed in 14 seconds, mostly.
I'm destroyed. It takes like 16 to 17 seconds. But like sometimes you get the stupid volleyball game. And you're like, okay, I like this. This is fun, right? I don't know.
I like playing that party mode more than I do the story mode, the championship mode or whatever it's called. I like just getting into a party and messing around with fighter combinations and seeing what happens. I haven't played a whole lot of it though. I played over 65 hours of Splatoon 2. I think last time I looked at ARMS, it was like has played over 5 hours.
Man, sounds like ARMS doesn't have legs.
Oh no,
I wouldn't say that.
Just saying. I spread that on IGN.
So another question for you, Phil, because you're getting that Xbox One for Crackdown 3. Does the fact that PlayerUnknown Battleground is going to be exclusive on that Xbox One S of yours mean anything to you?
I know nothing about
Phil,
this game.
How do you feel about chicken dinners? Would you like to win a chicken dinner?
No, I'm not a winner.
It's a hypothetical chicken dinner.
I don't think chicken dinners are for me. I know nothing about this game other than
the movie Battle Royale.
I've seen the movie Battle Royale.
Okay. The concept of Battle Royale then, right?
Yes.
Where they're
kids are on an island, school children.
They are forced to kill each other, and the playable area shrinks or whatever.
Well, there are danger zones that you cannot go into. Yes,
that's right. So basically, that's the game in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. They have sections of the map that it basically closes in on a random bit of this island.
Okay,
and you have to get there and kill the other players and be the last one standing of the 64 people that walk in. So
it's like kind of like Friday the 13th, but just totally different.
It doesn't sound like my type of game.
It's like Mario's Picross, but different.
Well, you said it does have a grid system, and that is like Mario's Picross.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm warming up to this idea.
Like a poisonous gas. That
So it's like playing. It's like me playing Mario's Picross after eating a Taco Bell. Is what you're saying. Goo.
Right. I find the small pocket of air that's still breathable.
Yeah, that's right.
Winner, winner, chalupa dinner.
Are you going to check out PUBG, CJ?
I've already checked it out. I've played a bunch of it on Steam already, and I like it. It's fun.
It's to me like the one sort of shooter, because I don't play online shooters, but to me it's the one sort of shooter I could see, because once you're dead, you can just get out and play the next game.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there and watch. Like I could see that. I could see having fun playing that game.
Here's my strategy. Get on a team with people better than you and just run, follow them.
Pretty much what I do every day in real life.
And if you run into somebody close range, then you shoot them. I'm terrible at shooting, especially sniping. And in PUBG, you have to be good at like taking people out from distance, and I can't do that. I'm terrible at it. So I played a little bit of H1Z1 as well, which is it has a separate game that's very similar to PUBG, and that was a little bit. I did a little better in that because the combat seemed more close range. Although in PUBG it gets close range once you're down to like the last 20 people in a very small section of the map. So yeah, it's fun. I'll be interested to see how console players react to it.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's got a fair bit of jank on the PC.
I think it's going to be a big deal on the Xbox One. I think it's going to. I think it's going to make a difference. Not a major difference, but I think it's going to be a one of those phenomenons for a little bit on the Xbox One in the console world.
It's going to be.
I think you're right. The only question there is how long is it going to be an Xbox One exclusive? Because they did say it's a launch exclusive, but not that it wouldn't be coming to PS4 at some point. So,
hey CJ,
yeah,
I got another question for you.
What's that?
Did you read the GamesIndustry.biz article about Friday the 13th?
I sure did.
I was thinking about you the whole time.
I love that article because it really speaks to what the game industry and the gaming media is now, right? Yes. Because Friday the 13th did not review well at all. I think it's like a 50 something on Metacritic. It's
sub
very
60.
Low.
Yep, sub 60.
Did not get good reviews.
Imagine what a sub 60 Metacritic would do to a game that launched 5 years ago.
That would be death.
And yet they sold 1.8 million copies of this game in the first few months, and it is a wild success.
Yeah, that's right. They were expecting the maximum number of people to be on the servers, like 60,000, and it turned out it was 100,000 concurrents.
Yeah, they thought they were in great shape. They're like, look, we took the number of people that were in the beta, we quadrupled it, and then we added 30 more %. And we thought we were good, and we still just got destroyed by the number of people playing it.
Yeah, and I think all of it is about watching streams of other people playing it and being able to overlook the jank that game reviewers would not normally overlook, right? Like if you can't get into a match and you're being kicked out of matches with constant disconnects, you're not going to give that a good review. Like they're not really reviewing the game on the gameplay. Then it's more about the technical issues. So, yeah, I thought it was extremely interesting to read that article, and also really great to see that they're pumping more content into the game.
Yeah,
as well. Like I'm really, really excited about that. And they posted videos on Twitter of some new motion capture sessions that they're doing. So I'm all about that. Bring on more content. If they want to charge me for more content, I'm fine with that too. I'll pay more. I've already double dipped on that game.
As I was reading the article, I just kept thinking about, because you've been talking about this game since it came out, and you would always say the same couple of things. It's buggy, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
And if there was no Twitch streaming, and if there was no YouTube, it never would have gone anywhere. It to me, and we were having a discussion, and this fellow you may have heard of, Ethan Einhorn. I'm not sure
yeah.
We're having a Twitter discussion.
Well,
and
about the importance of game reviewers.
Yes, but the fact that I think if this doesn't tell you that whatever we think about how game reviews, whatever import they may have, again, it just blows my mind. 5 years ago, if a game launches with a 55, it's dead. It's sent to die and nobody cares about it.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind how a game could review so poorly and sell so well. It's not like it sold 350,000 copies. 1.8 million copies of a game that nobody had heard about. There's no history with it. Yes, it has an IP, but Friday the 13th is not exactly.
It's not an active IP.
Not an active IP.
No,
right? No. You would think maybe Scream or something would have been a little bit of a slightly newer IP to invest in. And Ethan said, "Oh no, review scores still matter because, I check them and adults with disposable income check them." And I'm kind of thinking, you know what? If a game ships and gets a 50 Metacritic, I don't think game reviews, frankly, matter at all anymore.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we've kind of gone back to the days of the arcade where you knew what the good games were because a bunch of people were huddled around them.
Yeah.
Right?
now they're instead of huddled around the cabinet, they're huddled around the Twitch stream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it on the show before, like people who stream just one game or specialize in one game and do like 5-6 hour streams a day of one game. There's a guy, Skilled Apple, who does this for Friday the 13th. He streams it every weekday.
Oh yeah.
It's like one day off. It's crazy. Nice. And for me, I was interested in Friday the 13th. I saw the reviews. Of course, they were terrible. And I watched a bunch of streams and people who had played the beta who were explaining how to play. And I'm just like, this is great. I'm totally in. And that was all I needed. And to me, that's really how I find out about games now. I might look at not even Metacritic, OpenCritic. Is the site that I go to generally to get a good feel on what people are thinking about a game, or Reddit and NeoGAF. I'll lurk in some threads of games that I'm interested in and just see what the buzz is, and then buy off that. I really like Giant Bomb's Quick Looks. Game Informer was doing Test Chamber, which they haven't done Test Chamber in a while. I used to watch those videos too. Like I really like that type of thing. Just, show me the game. And even Giant Bomb did not like Friday the 13th in their Quick Look, but I had already bought the game by that point, so I didn't need to get their opinion.
I just don't think a lot of people appreciate the rapid acceleration that this whole Twitch discovery process has taken. My son is 10. I cannot imagine him poring over a review on a website. And I mean, all he and all of his friends do is talk about what they watched on YouTube, whether it's
were there even any reviews of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds when that thing came out?
No clue.
I think that was entirely built on Twitch streams.
And it's been fascinating to watch. I don't know if you guys have been following it. There's been quite a bit of hubbub in the Madden community. The EA sports guys have not really unveiled any of the gameplay yet for Madden, and in years past they had done this a month or two ago, and they're basically going to unleash their YouTube community a few days before the game goes on EA Access. They're basically ignoring the press and the traditional channels, and they're just going to let their YouTubers go after it. And
I do wonder if Friday the 13th didn't review well. I wonder if they also had a strategy. Well, they had a beta, and they gave that to streamers and had streamers play that. So when the game was final and actually came out, they kind of already had a stable of people who were ready to play it on stream, right? I think you're exactly right. Like with Madden kind of doing the same thing. I mean, this is clearly becoming a strategy for
I think it's a strategy whether you are a multi-billion-dollar company like EA, or even my little company, Out of the Park Developments, right? Like we've invested heavily in streaming now, and we're a baseball strategy or a hockey strategy game, but we've seen triple-digit percentage increases in the people watching our YouTubes over the course of 2 years as we invested and get. It's not about volume to me. It's about consistency. You do something every single week and you start to tell a story, and then people come back and they want to see what's happening week after week after week.
Yep.
Out of the Park Baseball, through zero involvement of me, has been one of the highest rated games for years, right? In fact, it won PC Game of the Year last year on Metacritic. And the sales have been solid, but not, it's not like when we won Game of the Year, all of a sudden it went crazy, right? It's been very solid. And yet this year, we've invested a lot more in streaming, and our sales have had their biggest spike yet. And our Metacritic score went down, not a lot, but it went down. I mean, it's hard to go up from whatever it was. Like it's almost like no matter what game you have, whether you're a $1 billion EA or Activision or a little tiny Out of the Park Developments or anyone in between, if you're not making streaming a heavy part of your pre-launch and post-launch marketing plan, you're asking for.
Well, that's the thing, like Bethesda, right? Who doesn't send copies to reviewers anymore.
And by the way, who complains about that? Nobody.
Well, there were complaints when that first got announced, right?
By the reviewers.
By the reviewers. I haven't heard a complaint about it in a while.
That's fewer games that they get to take back and trade into GameStop.
I mean, you guys were reviewers for years. I reviewed on Games Radar for years. I have a bunch of friends who still write reviews. Like it's just, it's so different now, and it's happened so quickly. It's not like this has been a gradual thing. It has happened so fast.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people.
I'd rather watch somebody that I trust stream a game and learn a game. Like you can really learn a lot about whether you're going to like a game by watching somebody else play it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And if you're watching somebody play it who you have some sort of context of what kind of games they like or whether you like them or not.
Yep.
It's similar to when I would read an old EGM. Like I cared about who was reviewing the game because I knew, CJ likes these kind of games and Phil doesn't like these kind of games, or Stuart, likes these kind of games. So that's the other thing. Like, it's not just the fact that you can watch it, but a lot of people get familiar with who's talking about it, and that influences it even more.
Completely.
You don't get that on websites where people don't know who any of these people are anymore.
Well, to me, it also became clear like a year or two ago when the Wii U was failed. Nobody was covering Wii U stuff, and you have a YouTube channel like Game Explain, which I really like a lot, and I contribute to their Patreon. And they cover Nintendo stuff exclusively, and they do it in a way where they know what they would want to see, right? They know the kind of video content that they would get excited about. And they are making that content and putting it on their channel. And for a long time, they were the only ones doing any kind of Nintendo video content. A couple other websites have caught on and are doing it now too, but I really appreciated that, and I've been following them for a long time. And when they opened up their Patreon, I contributed to that. Easy Allies is the same kind of way. I think we've been talking to we talked about them a couple weeks ago. Similar kind of thing, right? People who liked that content on game trailers can now get it without that site, but by fan support, which is the same as Twitch streamers. I mean, Twitch streamers, the reason that they're doing 5-6 hour streams of one particular game day after day is because people want to watch that. People will subscribe and pay them for that. So
it's just it's so interesting to watch it happen, and
it's a different world.
So different, so fast.
Yeah,
like this didn't even exist when the PS4 and the Xbox One launched, right? It was sort of like, wow, look, there's a button on here to stream. but it's I don't know when it happened, but it just in the last 12, 18, 24 months, man. It's unbelievable. And the fact, what was really interesting, I found when Ethan said, "Oh no, people, older folks, the people who've been playing video games for a long time, have disposable income, absolutely go to review sites. They check Metacritic. They do that."
That's because Ethan does it. Ethan also shops at brick and mortar stores over anything online.
And to say nobody reads reviews anymore, nobody looks at Metacritic anymore is ridiculous, right?
And it's not true that nobody does, but
right. And he said you shouldn't say that. I said you're right, but frankly, CJ, the fact that you, right, as a you're not 12. You're not 12, are you? Are you 12? No. I don't think you're 12, right? The fact that you discover games this way now, to me, if that's not a giant red flag waving at every single video game media site, yikes, crazy town.
Yeah, hacker alias Keeks750 says, "Has anyone checked out the gamer block on Disney XD?" This is an interesting experiment and kind of what we're talking about, right? Because there's this streamer culture. Yeah. You have Disney XD, who has turned kind of a late night block into their gaming block for the summer. I don't know if it extends past that. But IGN is doing shows for them. And I believe a couple of the big streamers are also doing shows for them. That they've kind of tapped into, okay, people are watching things on Twitch and YouTube. Let's try to put that on TV and see if people come and watch that as well. I've not watched Disney XD because I'm a cord cutter and I don't actually have a cable subscription that would give me Disney XD, but it's an interesting idea for sure.
Phil, how does Finn watch shows and discover? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you steer him towards games, but does he watch TV? Does he watch YouTube? Like, what's his?
Well, we cut the cable too, so we just have streaming services that we watch. So he he watches stuff on that. We'll buy season passes of things on iTunes. He will watch YouTube on occasion. He likes to watch like a lot of Pokemon videos on YouTube. That's his big thing because he's so into Pokemon right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's he'll just sit there with our phones. He'll ask to borrow our phones and then bounce around watching people play Pokemon or any sort of Pokemon-ish video he is into.
Yeah, we have not cut the cord. I pay an obscene amount of money to Comcast every month. And
yeah.
It's part out of habit and part out of the fact that, well, if I did cut the cord, I don't have a smart TV, so I would have to either hook up a Chrome thingy or a couple of different devices to it. So I haven't got there, but it's funny how the TV now it's basically, if my son wants to watch SpongeBob, he'll walk up, he'll pick up the remote, he'll say SpongeBob, and then he'll just watch it.
Right.
On TV. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all he watches on TV. I'll watch the game if it's on ESPN or something like that, or a baseball game or something. But
this has quickly turned into Old People the Podcast. But
that's true.
It really, like, you think about 10 years ago, right? Like when The Office or Seinfeld or 30 Rock and Parks and Rec were on TV live. That was kind of appointment television, right? Like
right.
On Thursday night, I would watch the NBC block. And gradually over time, it turned into, I'll watch it on Friday when it's on Hulu, or when it's up on iTunes, I'll buy the season pass.
Yeah.
And that is now all it is. Like, don't need live TV anymore. When 10 years ago, that would have been unthinkable.
Well, you don't really have the water cooler shows anymore because I'm right now on episode.
Well, you do, but you have to binge watch them. You have
right.
to binge watch Stranger Things,
right,
so that we can talk about it.
Right. I'm on episode 2 of season 3 of The Leftovers.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea when that show was on. And I always have to ask somebody, "Hey, did you watch The Leftovers?" And they're
just finished season 4, right?
I think
I'm still on season 1.
I think season 3 is the final season. I'm pretty sure they wrapped it up. So I think it's 3 and a half.
Okay.
But like, remember The Sopranos, right? I mean, that was like, you watch it Sunday night, everybody's talking about it on Monday morning. And I think that's where we're going with everything, even with what I'm talking about with the Games Pass, right? With the Xbox One. Just, to pop something on, play any game you want to, anytime, play for 5 minutes or 5 hours.
But what you're also talking about is that games now are services that have like constant updates.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th and Overwatch and Destiny, and I'm sure it's coming to sports games as well. Like I think Ultimate Team already kind of does that, right?
Well, that's another reason they're not showing Madden is because the new Madden, because they're still making money off the old one. So why would you want to? Why would you want to cannibalize an extra few $1 million in 2 weeks? That'd be crazy to do that.
That's a good point.
Do either of you guys miss TV? Like, cutting the cord? Is there anything anything at all that you sort of miss or regret? Or are you totally good with it?
No, I haven't had cable in 5 or 6 years, probably.
I got
and
yeah,
I have not missed a single thing because I don't watch that many shows, and the shows that I do watch are easily seen on Hulu or iTunes. Like, I'm super into Rick and Morty right now, and like CJ was just mentioning, I will. There's a new episode of Rick and Morty on tomorrow, and I will be watching that as soon as it pops up on the iTunes Season Pass
on Monday.
On Monday, yeah.
All right. And none of our kids will have any idea what waiting for a certain time in a certain place.
No, they won't. They won't.
Doesn't even register.
There is a kind of nostalgic sort of twinge I get around the holidays when it's just like, used to be when CBS would air Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Charlie Brown Christmas or something. It was a big deal, and you knew that like all your friends at school were sitting down in front of the TV that night as well to watch these special shows. But other than a quick like, oh, it's weird that my son will never know what that feels like. I don't miss.
But now they all go up at once on sale on iTunes. You can just buy them. Or was it the Bill Murray Christmas special that Netflix did?
Oh, right.
It went up. Some of that feeling can be retained. Some.
Well, not really.
Not really.
But the idea is that everyone is watching it at the exact same time as you.
Yeah.
But
live
again,
sports is the last thing. That's it. Yeah. Or some sort of special live event like the Oscars or something. That's it. Nothing else.
But again, other than a brief twinge of nostalgia, it's like it's so much better the way it is now.
Yes.
So much better. And
indeed.
That's why I do not miss cable in the slightest.
Yeah. Hacker Alias Night Attack 09 says, turns out Crash was a good idea for Activision. I don't know if you saw like beat out Splatoon 2 in the UK, and it's selling like gangbusters. It's pretty crazy. He says, what IP do you want to see them bring back? Because they mentioned in their financial report recently that they were surprised by the sales of it, and we're considering bringing back some older titles as well.
Okay. Like, are we talking like Pitfall old? What are we talking about here?
I'm thinking 90s. I mean, if Crash has been a success, do you think it's partly the time period that came out, or do you think it's
I'm sure it's that. We're totally
90s kids.
We're totally in the 90s kids. Yeah. Are we
like Super Nintendo era when Pitfall the Mine Adventure came out? We were all
exactly
like 80s kids were like, oh yeah, Pitfall the Mine Adventure.
So is the question about what should Activision bring back, or what
Let's do both.
Like 90s franchises? Because I mean,
Let's do both. Like, you're gonna talk about Lester the Unlikely?
Tony Hawk or something? I mean, what other kind of big 90s
Baseball? 2000. Let's bring that back.
Yeah.
That was big, right?
Wait, was it?
Earthworm Jim.
Oh boy.
Wait.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Never.
Speaking of news this week.
Let's never speak of Earthworm Jim again.
I just remember writing a letter to Atari many years ago saying, why do Activision games look so much better than Atari games?
It's true.
They never responded. I don't know why.
Because all of Atari's best people went over to Activision.
Indeed.
Oh boy.
I'd love to see a new Pitfall. They could do some fun stuff with that.
I mean, I don't even know, and I mean, shame on me. I don't even know like what classic Activision IP there is.
Super Battle Tank. River Raid.
Yes, Kaboom.
Yeah, what about PS1 era? Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk Ride 2. Let's do it.
Isn't Tony Hawk coming back? Isn't that a thing that's happening?
No. Oh, they was it Tony Hawk 5 or 6 that came out that was so terrible, and they lost the license.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Or I'm pretty sure they don't have it anymore.
Kyle Alvarez on our chat says Tony Hawk 5 came out like a year ago.
I remember there was a disastrous Tony Hawk, but I thought that there was still yet another one in the pipeline for some reason. I thought.
Of course, Kyle also says Gex should come back.
Gex.
So,
I mean, a quick Google search shows that Snoopy's Grand Adventure is an Activision IP. I know, Phil, you're a big fan of that series.
I played. I got the platinum in Snoopy's Grand Adventure.
Right.
So there you go. I don't know if it needs to be back. Gabriel C on our chat says he'd love if they brought back Adventures of Lomax. Remember Lomax the Lemming?
I sure do.
Yes,
I remember
the PR guy
who came to our office to show us Lomax.
Mark Day.
You have a good impression of him.
The very Scottish Mark Day. Got a couple of games for you. Brought a couple of games for you in today. I got this game called Professional Underground League of Pain. Call it Pulp. It's Professional Underground League of Pain. It's a future sports game. It's really pretty fantastic. Looks really gorgeous. Got some wonderful lighting effects. We should check it out. Also got this other game called Adventures of Lomax the Lemming. It's a bit shite, but we should look at it anyway. I bothered to bring it in.
That.
Yeah, he actually, that was a it's a quote I remember from like
Truth and PR from Mark Day.
Game's a bit shite, but I brought it in, so we should look at it anyway. But I really wanted to focus on Professional Underground League of Pain.
You know, he's like a YouTube comedian now.
I know. He was great.
He's great.
I always liked Mark Day.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was a great PR guy, fun guy to talk to. And he had a
indeed
bitchin' accent.
True.
I don't know why they didn't call me to voice Scrooge McDuck on the new DuckTales reboot. I know David Tennant's like actually Scottish. But you know,
we should hopefully we'll hear from some listeners on how accurate your
I could have had me voicing an
Hey, speaking of voices,
I can't do anything.
Like an angry mid-20s Scotsman.
Speaking of voices, Phil,
Curse me kills. Them Beagle boys are after me money bin again. What's that, Rich? You got something to say?
You
got something to say? Spit it out, Rich. Just say it.
The animated Alice in Wonderland was on today, and I had never
the Disney one.
The Disney one, I had never seen it. And all of a sudden, when the Mad Hatter started speaking, I did a double take. I said, "Wait a second, that's Bill. Now I know what that's
Sam
is."
Raimi.
That's the Sam Raimi voice.
Your Mad Hatter is dead on, Filthy Ball. Dead
People,
on.
thanks so much.
So good.
Change place with everybody. Well, because my Sam Raimi voice is just an Ed Wynn. Ed Wynn was a comedian back in the day, and it just his whole gimmick was he talked like this. And Ed Wynn is the voice of the Mad Hatter. So
I just had always thought it was. I knew it was something, but I didn't realize it was that. I mean, that's
exactly.
That was a strange moment.
You know, speaking of voiceovers,
Yeah.
Hacker Alias Miyakosa says, will the PS4 port of Dragon Quest XI have voiceovers? If not, is this a misstep for a modern 2017 AAA RPG to not have voice work?
I don't know.
Of course, it would be a 2018 RPG because it was announced as a 2018 game.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I was listening to the most recent 8.4 Play, and they were talking about that it doesn't have voiceovers and how kind of jarring that is.
Oh, the Japan one doesn't have voiceovers?
No, it doesn't. So in cutscenes, there'll be something like a baby crying, and it'll just have the subtitle.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible. That's too bad.
So, yeah, no voiceovers. So and that's kind of weird considering Dragon Quest VIII.
Yeah, had
the PS2 had plenty of voice work.
Had great voice work. I loved the voiceover work in that, and even like the Dragon Quest Heroes games have extensive voice work.
Yeah.
So,
but not 11, apparently.
Yeah.
Voiceover or not, do you guys turn on subtitles in games that are dialogue heavy?
It depends.
Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm not like games that are usually like kind of humorous games. Like if it's a funny LucasArts game, Day of the Tentacle or Full Throttle or something like that, I'll usually turn it off just because it screws up the timing of the jokes. Because a lot of a humorous video game, the jokes are typically meant to be heard as opposed to read, and they're funnier when they're delivered by a voice actor. So I'll turn them off in that case for sure.
I tend to turn them on more often than not now, just because if you miss a line, right? I just feel like I miss. I didn't mention earlier, but I'm playing Borderlands on or Tales from Borderlands, whatever the Telltale thing is.
Right,
I would turn them on there because there's a lot of dialogue, but there's a lot of action, and I felt like I was missing something. And
gotcha.
To me, it depends what the text size and the subtitles are. If it's too small, I just turn it off.
Yeah.
If it's readable from 10 feet away, I'll leave them on.
Yeah. Groovy, man.
What do you think about voiceovers, though? Is it weird for modern games not to? I think in the case of Dragon Quest XI, it seemed, anyway, from the talk on 8.4, like they were trying to hit a very nostalgic vibe with the whole game.
Right.
And that may be why it doesn't have voiceovers.
But America doesn't have that nostalgia for Dragon Quest.
That's exactly right. And they hypothesized that it'll come out in the US with voiceovers, and then they'll do like an international edition.
That would make sense.
Where it has everything.
I can see that.
Which makes sense.
Sure. We'll see what happens.
All right, Mark Day.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that can get to me. I can voice all of the characters. One will have a very broad Scottish accent. The other one will sound like Edwin. Oh my goodness, there's a slime approaching. What do we do? Stab him with your sword. All you got to do. He's a slime. He's pretty weak. His attacks are a bit shite anyway. Just stab him with your sword. Stabby, stabby. Stabby, stabby. Clippity, clippity.
All right. Hacker alias Seth Chenard says, what game or games would you consider you are best at, past and present? CJ, has Splatoon been the game you most excel at? Hydro Thunder was the game that I most excelled at.
You had a record for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it's still in Twin Galaxies, actually.
Are you still a Twin Galaxy record holder?
Maybe on Lost Island. Yeah, I love that game. I spent many, many hours playing the arcade version of Hydro Thunder.
Yeah,
because we had a machine in the office in Lombard at EGM. So that was the reason why I was any good at Hydro Thunder.
Yes,
I was pretty good at Pac-Man Championship Edition back when that first came out on the 360.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and Hydro Thunder, the Hurricane version that came out on the 360, I was in the top 50 on one of those tracks.
Oh yeah,
that game too. Yeah.
The definition of good is interesting because I remember back in the probably OG Xbox. I guess Halo 2 was the original Xbox, right? Not on the 360?
That's right.
Okay. So I would play Halo 2 online and just get destroyed, slaughtered, murdered mercilessly.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was terrible at it. And then at some point on one weekend, a buddy of mine had a few of his friends over and a few Xboxes, and we had like a LAN Xbox Halo 2 competition for a couple hours, and I won every match. So I'm like, oh, I'm actually not terrible at this game. All of that time getting killed mercilessly, now I'm playing this group of people, and I'm great. And then I brought my Xbox home, and the next day went on Halo 2 online and just went back to being destroyed all the time. So it's definitely context sensitive to who you're playing, and that's where I've realized that when it comes to sports games, right, which is a big part of my life, I'm good at sports games until I start to play people who are good at sports games, and then I'm just terrible at them. So, like, to the general public, if they saw me playing a sports game, they're like, wow, you really know what you're doing. And then as soon as you head online, I just get taken
That's
apart.
another benefit of watching people stream games, is that it makes you feel a whole lot better about your own skill. I like that. Yeah.
And CJ?
Yeah.
For the record, Hydro Thunder, Lost Island, fastest race, with the score of 1 minute 34.42 seconds. You are ranked 10th.
Wow.
Still in the top 10. All right.
Still in the top 10.
Yes.
So
congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Let's see. There you go.
What about you guys? What game are you best at? What would you say?
You got to shave 3 seconds off your time to get up to number 1, buddy.
I can't do it.
You can do it. You can do it.
I don't have a machine in my house anymore, so my place of business, so I can't do it.
Well, talk to the Adult Swim people. Tell them you need it for work.
Yeah. Okay.
What am I the best at? I don't know. I'm good at Mega Man 2. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, the whole Summer Games Done Quick and Awesome Games Done Quick thing has made me also feel extremely bad with my skill at some of those older games. Like I used to think like I could go back to a game that I finished, let's say 25 times as a youth, and I come back to it like Super Mario Brothers. Like you can kind of like do that whole thing. There's a rhythm to it, right? Like when if you played a game over a dozen times or so, like
it's called muscle memory.
Yeah,
it gets right there in your muscles. You can't
like Punch Out. Like Punch Out has a rhythm to it too, and going back and
feel the rhythm, feel the funky flow.
Yep.
Hi, that's right.
But the people who speedrun that stuff, they make me feel completely inadequate at games. Man. Like you watch somebody who's doing a speedrun of Breath of the Wild.
You get the same feeling when you watch porn too, don't you?
Well, the speedrun during Summer Games Done Quick of Breath of the Wild, where they were just doing things that's like I don't even know like where to start here. Like my hands would just be paralyzed. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because the older I get, the more I realize that I'm not that good at games anymore. No. Most games.
Wow.
But you know what? I appreciate the games where you don't have to be good.
Yes.
Where like it used to be probably early PS2 era, late PS1 era. I don't know if you remember this, where like when you select the easy setting on a game, it would only give you like 5 of the levels or like a limited number. And early 360 days, they wouldn't give you all of the achievements. Like you had to play in normal or hard to get the achievements. I've noticed like a lot more games now, it doesn't matter what difficulty you're playing on, you can get all the achievements. And I play a lot of games on easy. And I don't have to feel like I'm inadequate. Like,
get good.
If I don't want the difficulty, I don't have to have it. Right? And it's fantastic.
I think the genre that I can feel comfortable saying that I'm pretty good at is tower defense.
Oh,
like Toy Soldiers and Pixel Junk Monsters are a couple of examples of really fun tower defense games that I got to be pretty darn good at. Like Toy Soldiers, I think I haven't completed on the hardest difficulty, but I've gotten to the second hardest and completed all the way through, and really sort of understood, okay, I'm going to have to set up this kind of thing here and this here, and I got to make sure I don't let this run out. Like my brain was sort of operating on that right rhythm, CJ, to your point, where I know what I'm doing, I know how to do it. A lot of games I don't really know. I'm not planning and being proactive. I'm just reacting to.
Mm-hmm.
So Toy Soldiers and Pixel Junk Monsters were games that once I understood, I would be proactive and I would know what I was doing before I would do it. And most games now, I'm just, like I said, I'm almost in defense mode. Like I'm just reacting and trying to survive. And one other game that I would say I've gotten good at, there's a soccer franchise called Pro Evolution. And over the last couple of years, I have spent a significant amount of time playing those in a single player mode. And I have really gotten to understand, here's the way to put a team together. Here's the type of player I want up front. Here's the type of defensive player I want in back. Here's the formation that I want. And here's when I'm playing the game. Here's how to do it. And the only way to do that is to do it over and over and get the repetitions in. And again, you get into that rhythm and you play the games. But those are very rare. Most of the games that I play nowadays, I do not feel in control. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm trying it out and I'm checking it out. And even ARMS, like we were talking about earlier, like I played a lot of ARMS and I still don't feel like I really know what I'm doing. When I finally break through and beat a fighter on like level 4 after the 10th time, I don't think it's because I really know what I'm doing. I think it's because I got lucky a few times. So
you know, it's fun though on those games, like on ARMS or on Splatoon, or even Friday the 13th and whatnot. Like I love watching videos of people who are better than me at those games. Like I think I tweeted out a link the other day of somebody who's good at sniping in Splatoon, and I can't use a charger weapon for anything in Splatoon. Like I'm terrible at chargers. Like I can't. I'm never going to be good with sniping weapons in any game. Doesn't matter what game it is. But I love watching videos of people who are good because they get in such a rhythm and flow, like you're talking about. Like, and it's amazing to watch. I can't do it. I'll never be able to do it. But like watching people who are good at Overwatch or Rocket League or ARMS, like the championship that Nintendo did at E3 with ARMS, it was just amazing to watch. And the same thing with Splatoon. Like that stuff, even though I'm at a certain level, like I like watching other people who are definitely better than me play it. Maybe I get something out of that, maybe I don't. Like maybe I get some tips on how they played. Certainly Friday the 13th, watching other people be good at Jason definitely affected how I play that myself. So yeah, watch some streams. Feel better about your own skill by watching people who are better than you at video games.
No, conversely, if you ever, again, going back to sports games, if you ever watch streams of people playing Madden, it'll just drive you nuts because all they do, they get to the line of scrimmage and they make 4 hot routes and they send these guys this way and that way and the other thing, and you look at it and you're like, I have no idea what's happening right now. So that's the situation where you watch some of those guys and you're like, forget it. I'm not even going to try.
Does it make you feel any better? I have no idea what you were just talking about. Something about the line of scrimmage. Makes no sense to my nerdy ears.
All right, should we wrap it up? Is that a show?
Sure.
I think that's a show.
Hey, you know what? Before we wrap up,
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I did yesterday?
What'd you do?
On Friday.
What?
I bought me a video game.
Ooh, you did?
I bought a video game. I ordered a video game. I was able to snag a copy of Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy.
Nice.
Yes, from Limited Run Games.
Now, did you get the one that looks like the Master System box, or did you get the one that's just the plain vanilla version?
Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
Let me break it down for you.
Do it.
Rich, drop me a beat.
He's muted.
Rich,
can't hear your beat.
Drop me a beat.
You ready?
Drop me a beat.
Hey, Glaven.
Yeah. My name is Phil, and I'm here to say I bought me something from Limited Run Games yesterday, and I'm so hip, and my raps are so fly, and let me tell you about this game I done buy.
Hey, Phil,
yeah?
Don't get cooked. Stay off the hook.
Okay. Thank you. I will.
Okay.
I will. So there are two different versions of Wonder Boy.
Mm-hmm.
The Dragon's Trap, or the Dragon's Strap, if you're into that sort of thing.
You misspelled it.
Yeah. There is the standard edition for $29.99, which just comes with the game. And the game has a reversible cover. You have the new Wonder Boy artwork, which is fantastic artwork. It's beautiful looking artwork. And then the reversible art makes it look like a Master System game.
Yeah.
It's got the white with the gray grid and everything. It looks like the old Master System. The collector's edition, which is $64.99.
Yeah,
more than twice the regular one. Comes with the game, of course, with the reversible art. Comes with an 18 by 24 inch poster. Comes with a 2-disc soundtrack of the game. Comes with trading cards and a shrink-wrapped outer box.
Yeah,
that is also decorated like a Master System type game.
Mm-hmm. So which one did you get?
I bought the regular edition. Regular edition.
Okay.
Just because the poster and the soundtrack and stuff is cool, but I have too much crap in my house anyway. I'm trying to sort of cut down on some of that. So,
yep.
So I did not buy the limited edition, and besides, I'm still getting the reversible Master System-esque cover. So,
okay.
So there. So I ordered that, and just giving myself a little bit of clicking practice for next Friday when Limited Run puts up Night Trap, because I want to get that Night Trap.
I created my Limited Run account and put my address in there, and I'm ready to go.
Good boy.
Ready to go.
That Night Trap is physical, not just digital, right?
That's right.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's going to be digital, but
it'll be both. Yeah.
But Limited Run is doing a limited run of physical copies. 5,000 copies of the standard edition, and 3,000 copies of the collector's edition of Night Trap.
1,000 of which will be purchased by one Greg Seward.
Yes. Yes. He's that excited.
He is excited.
I'm just going to be getting the regular edition of Night Trap as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Cool deal. Was that it? Was that all you wanted to share?
I just wanted to share. I just wanted to brag that I got a Wonder Boy.
Cool.
And I wanted to drop some fat beats. Let everyone check out my flow.
And that you did.
Thank you. Any rap that starts with "my name is blank and I'm here to say," is going to be
usually
a good one.
And you loving something in a major way,
like my Fruity Pebbles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
We ready? We done? I'm pretty sure.
You know what? I got one more thing to say.
Alrighty. And that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Stewart. I'm sure he's working hard on a brand new entry in that series right now as we speak. Yes. And Generation 16 episodes delivered more timely than before. Now also linked on our webpage there, or you can go to generation-16.com and check all that stuff out. If you go to our website, you can also look at the show notes, which have relevant links to the things that we talked about. We mentioned a couple articles specifically in this episode, so I'll be putting those in the show notes. You can check that out. Also, if you're going to join us for Scoop Fest in September, got a link to that in your show notes as well, or you can go to heyscoops.com/shop and find out information about that. It's going to be a great time.
Before we recorded, I bought my plane tickets down to Scoop Fest. So I don't know if at least I'm going.
I'm definitely going.
Have you bought your tickets yet?
No, but I never miss a chance to go to Vegas. You know this.
That's true. You love Vegas.
I don't even gamble, but I like Vegas.
I'm going in a week.
Are you?
Sweet.
Yep.
You should wait and go to Scoop Fest.
I'm just going to stay the whole time. I'm not leaving.
Do it.
Scoop Fest is over.
We're trying. I don't know if I should mention this now, but I guess I'm going to. We're trying to get something set up for our listeners to get discounts on Scoop Fest.
That's true. Yes.
So we will hopefully have some more information on that next week.
Indeed.
So if you want to come see us
live,
make of ourselves live, we'll be in range to throw stuff at us. If you don't like what you hear,
please don't.
If if you're going to, at least go with the vegetables.
Yes,
like rotten vegetables that are soft. Don't throw your beer bottles at us.
Lettuce.
True.
Just lettuce.
Lettuce is fine.
That works.
Yeah.
Lettuce is fine. I'll bring some Caesar dressing.
Or if they can be the lettuce that's in the bag already, like the pre-made salad,
the little shreds, so you can put them on your tacos.
Just toss bags of shreds at us, please.
Yeah. No beets. No beets. Just
lettuce.
Beet
you know what?
Like pillows, really.
Bring some shredded lettuce. You guys and you listeners, you can coordinate this. Someone bring some shredded lettuce. Someone bring
the tacos.
Someone bring some tortillas shells. Someone bring some beef.
Yeah.
And
you got yourself
feel free to
cheesy gordita.
Someone bring some shredded cheese, and feel free to throw that at us so we can eat tacos while we record.
That's right. That'd be perfect.
Everyone
would be our ideal situation.
Everyone loves to hear people eating during a podcast.
Well, this will be live too, so it'll be
even better.
Every last slurp and crunch.
There is a genre of people who live stream themselves eating, and it's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, where was I in? We were talking about Scoop Fest.
Scoop Fest, the live player one show during Scoop Fest is just going to be us up on stage, and we're going to do one of those live streaming things where we lance boils and pop zits.
Ooh.
No,
because that's a thing on YouTube. God, no. Did you know that?
I know that's a thing on YouTube.
That's a thing on YouTube that people watch.
Is weird. YouTube is weird.
People watch that crap.
Watching video games is like the least weird thing.
Watching people pop their zits on YouTube. That's a thing.
Yikes. All right.
Did you know that Dragon Quest Builders 2 was announced while we were recording?
Really?
Yeah, it's they just announced it. It's coming to PS4 and the Switch.
Fantastic. Maybe now I'll actually play it.
So there you go.
Very cool. On our website as well, there's a message board where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
To pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails. One-touch. Scottish, you understand. My vowels don't always come out the way they should.
I feel like this is going to be offensive to some of our listeners.
I don't know.
I want to hear people doing American accents. That's the most fun.
Howdy, cowboy. Care for a hamburger, bro?
Do you even lift?
Let's go, brah. Via the emails and the Twitters and what have you. Yes, I have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users. The Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
I am watching this live, and Rich is mouthing my lines.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's someone who's been listening to our show for far too long.
Yes.
Not enough.
Get outside, buddy. Oh, my goodness. You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can check out archives of our show and watch us live most weeks on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. If you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. You know what it does? It helps us go to Scoop Fest. It helps us do. I don't even have a joke this week. Because it helps us do wonderful things. It's helping get us to Scoop Fest. It's helping to
it's true
to hotels and
booze
and hookers and blow.
And of course, silly me with the Patreon. I moved it so now it's every month pledges.
Right.
But I didn't change the goals.
I got a notification about that, CJ.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
So at a certain dollar amount, we said we'd do an extra episode of the podcast. But that was our per episode goal, not the real goal.
Oh, I got a notification.
Because I messed up. I definitely messed up. It's on me, really.
So are we stuck doing an extra show a month now?
Oh yeah, you have to do an interview with a developer or a historical figure. I got the email. I'm waiting. Where's
Who
my
wrote that in our Patreon
episode?
profile? It was me. But yeah, we'll figure out what we're gonna do for an extra show. Phil, I think we can finally realize our dream of streaming Splatoon and talking while we play.
Yeah, because that worked out great. Like for those little bit we tried before we recorded this episode.
That did not work out great.
For those
absolutely
who don't
terrible.
know.
Hey, it worked out for me because I got to join you on the show because you
That's true.
that debacle for
because
that's true.
Because Rich was not here, and CJ and I attempted. We were like, let's see if we can stream.
You know, people who say that streaming video games and trying to be interesting is easy work. They're wrong. It's hard.
Yeah. We were not
interesting at all.
Kyle Alvarez on our live chat says, I started listening to this show in high school and I will be 30 in a few years.
Oh my
boy.
God. Oh boy.
I feel old. Oh God.
Well, I started listening when I was in college and I'm now older than Mike Phillips. I don't know how that happened.
That's weird. Mike Phillips says he wants to drive down to Scoop Fest, and I really hope he does.
I hope so too.
I really hope he does.
Mike is A, not far from Las Vegas, and B, if he's there and he doesn't join you on stage, is a crime against humanity.
If he drives down there, we're
gonna drag him.
Yeah, we'll drag him up on stage. So,
yeah, we want to see that.
So there you go. If you have
I missed the Fanboys Lunchcast, by the way. It's gone from the internet now.
Oh man, no. It's been wiped clean.
Yeah,
Obama took our Fanboys podcast or Lunchcast.
Yeah,
thanks, Obama.
Snipcast.
Speaking of snips,
Snippy Clippy. Snippy clip, Snippy. Cut it out together, everybody. My boss at work listens to our show. He loves it. Well, I used to work with him at Nintendo Power, so he knew what he was getting into when he hired me anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he loves when I do the Bane voice, but boy, does he hate the Snipper Clippy guy voice.
So that's why you have increased the number of times you do the Snipper Clips guy.
Snippy Clippy. Right for you, Stevie, Snippy Clippy. This one's for you, buddy boy.
You're fired. All right.
What a shame. If you happen to have a couple bucks left over, Mr. Wayne, head over to generation-16.com, where you'll find Greg Sewart's fantastic and wonderful Snippy Clippies. CJ's got some Snippy Clippies for you. It's wonderful. web series about North America's favorite second banana. Mr. Wayne. The Sega Genesis. Uh-oh. Who's knocking at my door? Oh, we're almost done.
I like how it has gotten progressively darker in your room.
I know. Well,
it's black.
The sun has gone out.
There was a cat in there like an hour ago, and now who knows what happened.
Greg Stewart, you can give some money to Greg Stewart to support his fantastic show, Generation 16, which is great. And now at a new, lighter format, everything is good.
I thought this episode of Player One was going to be a lighter format, and then we ended up talking for 2 hours.
There you go. Okay, CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
And crap, CJ.
Yeah.
Is this Larrabee? Which one is this?
What?
I don't know who this other guy is. Is this
Oh,
Larrabee?
Rich Grisham.
This is Phillips.
It's the internet's Rich Grisham.
Oh, it's everyone's favorite pal, internet's buddy, baseball game sensation, Mr. Rich Grisham. Thank you, extra super triple thanks to you for joining us. We love having you on our show. It's always an interesting conversation it is always, and that's not me just sweet talking you. It's always fun having you on our show. You always engage us so thoroughly and repeatedly.
Well, thank you very much for
rhythmically.
That's part of being a Patreon. That's what we do. Right?
No, thank you, Rich. Seriously, for joining us.
And seriously, thank you guys. I know I say it regularly, but I say it because I mean it. This is the best show about video games on the internet. No, this is the best show.
Are you sure though? I mean, you said that to Jeff Canova and Christian Spicer.
No, I said that was the second best show. Second best show. You missed that. Our friend Greg Ford has told me repeatedly to come on this show and say this is the second best show on the internet. But I said, no, Greg Ford, I am not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But I'm a longtime listener, Patreon supporter. I listen every episode every week. You guys are amazing doing this every week. It's unbelievable. Nobody else does it but you guys. We love you. The Player One podcast is spectacular. Thank you, and keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You're sweet. Okay. I guess we'll.
Where can people find Rich on the internet, though?
Oh yeah, where can people find you?
Plug your stuff.
Yeah, go for it.
So we make Out of the Park Baseball. Out of the Park 18 is our current game. You can get that on Steam or through our website. We make Franchise Hockey Manager, Night Attack 09, who's the community manager for Franchise Hockey. He's another longtime Player One supporter. Go check us out there. And we're going to have some big announcements about Franchise Hockey Manager 4 soon. It's happening. And
cool.
So check all that out and follow me on Twitter, Rich Grisham, and we'll have a good time. Thanks.
Hey,
awesome.
Next week?
Yeah, sure. Let's stream some Splatoon, though.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.